that, even though. Oh, hi. All right.
Good? Good. Start working. The 8th? No, I don't want to.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Not all together now. Good afternoon, everyone.
Disconnected.
All right, I know it's a little bit loud, so I'll go right here. Do you know that I have no idea what to say?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
I want to let you know this. Over the next hour, you're going to have the opportunity to do what I'm doing. If you want to, I'm inviting you,
I am.
just like I'm scared. You might be scared too. Today, we celebrate the life of David Little. That's right. That's right. So my name is Rocco Cranes, and I'm Jennifer Little's husband. And I have the honor to start this afternoon, and it's a real honor. Before I introduce Connie, Grandma, to everyone. Now you also want to know that we're all kind of nervous a little bit. You're a little bit nervous and uncertain, and you miss Dave. Can you just raise your hand? That's right. We're all kind of like, we miss him already, don't we?
Yep.
So every one of us here, we're all in different spaces. Some of you are sad. Some of you are regretful. Some of you are just being here. And I'm inviting you to be here for the celebration of his life. It's okay to be sad. All those ways are okay. So in a moment, I'm going to introduce Grandma, like I know her, Connie. But really, I want to take a moment and just really thank everybody for being here. And if you can do me a big favor, and I'd like to say a prayer for all of us. If you don't mind to close your eyes in prayer. Oh, good Father. Good Father. Thank you so much for having all Dave's friends, family here. Our people, we're all together here this afternoon in honor of the life of David Little. We thank you so much for the privilege of our lives, and maybe this afternoon we discover how blessed and thankful we should be for our lives. We are so thankful for being here on a good Friday. We ask now that everybody here together, we celebrate the life of David Little, and we celebrate the possibility of being alive and being in life. Thank you so much for everything, and we ask that in your name only. Amen. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Connie Little.
Well, like Rocco said, I really do want to thank everybody for coming. This has been a very sad week, happy week. He's no longer suffering, and I'm so blessed for that. And he would love this right now. He said, I don't want any sad music. I don't want any flowers. I don't want anything. I just want to party and burn my ass and have a good time. Those were his exact words. Anyway, when I look around and I see all of you in so many different plateaus of our life, I see Chuck and Millie from going to Wani Fest. I see Debbie and Al for the boat that we had his 70th birthday party on. It was a blast. That we thought was going to be his last birthday. Right? We went all out, had a great time. Turned 71, 72. And it was a family joke. Everybody's like, oh my God, Dad's going to be 73. Oh my God, he's going to be 75. He lived to be 79. The very day after his 79th birthday, he gets up and he looks at me and he went, Condu, I'm going to be 80 this year. And I'm like, maybe. But he made it 3 months into that year. He had such a will to live. He was a partier. We all know that. He was fun. He was amazing. And he was many things. And I look around here, I see, his daughters and his grandchildren and his friends and his motorcycle buddies, people that we RV'd with. Right here at this table right here, they got a lot of stories about Dave Little, I'll tell you. We had fun at Wani Fest. We got John. Where's John? Where's Coster? One of Dave's best friends, John Crown. Oh my God, I look around, Van. It's like, it's amazing, his sisters. He was many things. He was not just my husband of 54 years, but he had 5 daughters. He had 7 grandchildren that he adored, loved, cherished. And the one thing he said to me a couple days before he passed, he went, I'm ready, Condu. He went, I really am, but I'm going to miss what happens with my grandkids. It was sad. Anyway, he was an inventor. He was a photographer. He was a thinker, very innovative. He always wanted to talk business, right, John? Always had to talk business. But some of our employees that were with us 20 so years ago, they've all reached out to me in the past week and told me what a great person he was, how he encouraged them to go on and be more than what they thought they were at the time. We had a girl that worked for us that was a receptionist, cute little girl. He loved her. She got really good at doing our books because Dave said, I think you can do our books. She went, okay. Well, she loved it, and she went on and got a college degree, got her CPA, and now has her own firm. And she texted me and said, I can thank Dave Little for this. We had an ex-boyfriend too, Jennifer, that reached out to me this week and said, I got to tell you, Dave Little changed my life. He encouraged me to be what I am today. He taught me how to use tools. He taught me about construction. He went, and now I have my own business and I'm very successful. He went, I owe that to Dave Little. So I stand up here today. I feel very blessed. He gave me so much in my life. Adventure, a little bit of heartache. He liked to spend a lot of money, but he also knew how to make it. And he taught his girls, you work hard, you go make a lot of money, and you go make memories, because at the end, it's all we got, our memories. When he was at the hospital, he was so funny. The nurses loved him. They just could not stay out of the room because he was always joking, always making them laugh. I went up there one day and this nurse said to me, he got me in trouble. I said, how did he get you in trouble? And she went, I sat here and pulled up a chair and he talked to me for half an hour and made me laugh, and I got in trouble for that. So he was still making people laugh at the end. He was a great guy. Loved his friends. He loved you guys. He really did. But anyway, I had something I would like to read. When we moved into the RV, we had to get rid of so much stuff. And we came across the shirt that he had. He loved the shirt. And the shirt was about somebody that lived their life to the fullest and had a great time and totally wore their body out, which he did. But when he saw the shirt, he went, Condu, look at this shirt. This is me. You need to read this. You need to read this in my eulogy when I go. Here's what the shirt said. Life's journey is not to arrive at the grave safely in a well-preserved body, but skidding sideways, totally worn out, shouting, holy cow, what a ride. And he had a ride, a 79-year ride, and he was amazing with it. But I just want to celebrate him today because he was well worth celebrating. Thank you, everybody. Okay, Jordan, you're up. This is our grandson, Jordan. He's named after Dave, Jordan David Little, and he's a lot like Dave. Dave was young, which was good.
Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jordan. I'm Dave's oldest grandson, and I'm his namesake. So my middle name is David. I was the first boy. I mean, he had 5 daughters, and and Jill had Valentina, and then I was the first boy. I was the only boy out of how many women? I think it was like 11 in the house. So I know he was excited, and you know, I want to share a couple things with you about my experience of being Dave's grandson and, you know, the life that I lived that was provided by everything that he created with my grandma. So I was actually really struggling when I figured I was going to speak in front of everyone, and not because I'm afraid to speak in front of anybody, but because it's really hard to grasp what Dave is in a 5-minute speech, and you can't. And I think that's what Rocco wants everybody to do, is have an opportunity to speak so you can realize who Dave was for everyone. Because he was different for me than he was for my grandma or for my aunts and for everybody. I was really struggling until yesterday. I was sitting with my grandma. It was the first time I've been able to be alone with her since my grandpa passed. And you know, I call her once a week, you know, once every 2 weeks, and I catch her up on my life. And you know, we've been close since I was little. But I was sitting there with her yesterday, and all she was doing was talking about all these hilarious, awesome things that Grandpa did, that Dave did with her. And she was telling this story about how she had this fear of heights, and he took her hang gliding. And you know, she was talking about how she was so afraid, and then on the way down she didn't want it to end, and she was so happy and grateful that he did that for her. And so I realized what I want to say to everybody was the thing that I think that I'm the most grateful for that Dave did was provide the life for my grandma that he did. Because I had the best childhood. I mean, I wish Valentina was here so we could talk about how much fun we had as kids, and all of that comes from how much time I spent with my grandparents. And you know, I'm so grateful for what he was for my grandma and for my aunts, and we've all been so close. And as I'm looking around, you know, all the people that are up here or here are the people that have always been here. And I have to tell a couple about what my relationship was like with my grandfather. So when I was 10 years old, I had my 10th birthday. And my grandma knew I loved red velvet cake. So she spent all night long making this red velvet cake from scratch. It looked so good. It was my 10th birthday. I was so excited. And they got me a trick candle that when you had to blow out, you know, you tried to blow it, it didn't work. And so I'm blowing on it, you know, everybody's watching me celebrating, and I was like, you know what? And I hocked a loogie and I spit. Like, tried to spit on the candle and completely missed. All over the cake that my grandma had spent however long making. And I thought that was gonna kill. I thought everybody was gonna think it was hilarious. Nobody laughed. And everybody looked right at Dave. And he said, "What in the hell were you thinking?" He was like, "Your grandma spent all night making that cake for you." You know, he gave it to me. And, you know, my mom sent me to my room on my birthday. And at my 10th birthday party, I was in my room, and my grandma came in. This is a relationship I have with my grandma. And she comes in and she goes, "Honey, it's okay. I know you didn't mean to do that." I was like, "Yes." And, it was, that's a great memory. I also want to share that everybody who knew Dave knew what kind of man he was. And growing up, I always thought that he wanted me to be a fighter. Tough, hard, nothing get in the way. And that's how I felt my whole childhood, because that was kind of our relationship. He wasn't tough on me, but he was stoic, and that's what I felt for my whole entire life until I had my first sanctioned fight. And I was like, Grandpa, I'm gonna fight somebody in a cage. And he was like, "Well, why in the hell would you do that?" And I was like, in that moment, I was like, "Wait, I thought this is what you wanted from me." And the fight happened, and he showed up, and he sat in the front row with Uncle Kenny, and he watched me knock somebody out cold. And after the fight was over, he was like, "Well, I hope you don't ever do that again." And I struggled with that for a little bit, because I thought that was the type of man that he wanted me to be, until Thanksgiving. Before Thanksgiving, like the Thanksgiving dinner that we had, I got a text, "Hey, you got to meet us." This was from all of his daughters, so Dee Dee and Jen and Jackie and Jill and everybody. And he said, it was just him and I and all of the girls. And I think Autumn was there too. I believe Autumn was there. And he sat me down, and it was the most Sopranos Godfather sit down of all time. And he started talking to me about, the type of man that he wanted to be for his daughters, and the type of man that he wanted me to be. And he took his ring off, and he said, I got this ring. My mother got it for me. It doesn't really have any value, but I always wore it as a symbol of being the spearhead for this family for anything that they needed. And then he reached over and he said, "I've never seen you wear any jewelry before, but it's yours." And I have it on right now. And in that moment, I realized what type of man he wanted me to be. And it wasn't a fighter, and it wasn't hard, and it wasn't tough, and it wasn't all of those things. He wanted me to be somebody who showed up for the people that mattered, because that's what he did. He showed up the same way that he didn't want me to fight, but he showed up, and he showed up for everybody. So Dave was so interesting, but I'm grateful for his contribution to who I am as a man. So tonight, when you guys go home, I ask you, whether you're driving home or you're flying home or you leave tomorrow, whenever you're on your way home, I want you to put on the song "Life in the Fast Lane" by the Eagles, and I want you to tell me that Dave ain't with you right there, because he is. So thank you guys, and I love all of you. All right, Autumn, come on.
Is this thing on?
Check one, check two.
Hi. I wrote something on my phone because
You should tell everyone who you are.
I'm Autumn. I'm David's granddaughter, and I'm Julie's daughter, and I've had a lot of emotions about speaking and what I want to say and not wanting to forget anything and how I want my message to come across, and I can't really freely talk without stopping and crying. So I wrote something that I'm going to read off my phone, but I don't miss anything. So here it goes. Although our family and friends said a heartbreaking goodbye, I'm left with all the feelings, but most importantly, I'm left with gratitude and love. David Little was powerful, creative, passionate, wise, fearless, driven, and one incredible leader. All of the characteristics that I strive to embody as I continue through my life. He may have been tough as shit, but my relationship with my grandpa was filled with encouragement, guidance, and the softest love that I've ever known. No matter what's going on.
Okay, we have another one. You can use your diaphragm. I like the microphone. And I need a minute. We have another one coming. This might be the thing.
He may have been tough as shit, but my relationship with my grandpa was filled with encouragement, guidance, and the softest love I've ever known. No matter what we discussed, whether it be my schooling, my career path, my relationships, conflicts, and just about anything else, our conversations always left me feeling empowered and driven to go after more in my life for what I wanted for me. Our last conversation was a really powerful one, and it was about making a difference for other people. Can't read. And leaving a positive impact in the best way you know how. Rather that be learning and remembering somebody's name, listening and contributing to a conversation where somebody's sharing their ideas or their thoughts, encouraging people, loving people, and most of all, forgiving people. They all cultivate towards a better world and better relationships. I'm so grateful to have known him and to have learned from him and to have been so fortunate to love him and be loved him by my entire life. With that being said, I would love to set an intention today that was shared with me by my Aunt Jackie. That intention is to create that everyone here in attendance leave tonight touched, moved, and inspired by David Little. That everyone get the courage to start something new or finish something they've already started. And that David Little's legacy continues to create an immeasurable ripple effect. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all. And whoever would like to speak can come up next.
I forgot to read the ballot.
So this is going to be a message from my cousin Valentina, who is living in Italy. Do you want me to read it or you want me to? Thank you, because I cannot read it.
Jake should read it. Jake should read it.
Thank you.
All right. So, Valentina wrote, "To the creative behind the little family, the one who taught us to be completely delusional in the best way possible, the one that taught us to believe in ourselves and our dreams, even though others might criticize or have something to say about it and call us stupid. They're the crazy, stupid ones, for not realizing that you can truly create the life you want as long as you believe it. You showed our family that. Thank you for teaching us to be strong, teaching us to be independent, and teaching us to love and live life all while working hard. Thank you for giving me my love of motorcycles, the Eagles, and combos. I promise to ride down the Blue Ridge Highway one day with a Harley just for you. I love you, Grandpa. Alexa, play Take It Easy by the Eagles." All right, Uncle Kenny. Good. Oh.
Got props. Got props.
Probably better without that. Hello, everyone. My name is Ken. And David's brother. How do you follow that? Anyway, David's a Yankee, you know. We
Damn
came down,
Yankees.
damn Yankee, David State. We came down here a little over 40 years ago, and started a new life. Worked well for all. Anyway, David had a best friend up there. His name was Robin Pendleton. And he had a brother named Jerry. And in his 20s, David was a salesman. And in the corner of Jerry's garage was a pegboard. And it had David's business card on it. Sometimes David would have a job, different job, 3 times in 1 week. And this whole board was covered with these business cards. And they used to go in there and work on their motorcycles. They rode dirt bikes at the time. And it was always a joke. David, how many jobs have you had? And these guys all worked for the same company for 30 years. They didn't understand, well, David paid his business. It's really funny. It's funny how a celebration is so sad sometimes. But anyway, we moved down here, and there was always a joke about those business cards. But it'd be amazing to really have those today. To see that journey of what it took for him to do what he did. Shit. But anyway, we came down here. Now, does anybody ever here see David do the Happy Floridian? Well, if you ever did, it's one of the funniest things that you ever saw in your life. And it was very rare that he ever did it, but he made one video one time, sent it to Robin. We all did it. And it was great. But David had a serious side too. And it's all worked well. 2 weeks before he passed, and we were together by ourselves. And he says, Kenny, he said, I need to talk to you about something. I went, oh no. He treated me like my father sometimes. And he said, oh, I think about you. I went, oh no, here comes the end of the life speech. We went in there, we talked. He says, you know, Kenny says, me and Connie got this all worked out. And he says, we know what we're going to do. And we know what we're going to present. And he said, but I got one more thing that I'm going to need you to do. And I went, well, sure, Dave, what's that? And he started telling me. And at the end of it, I went, Dave, I don't know. I go, are you sure? He said, oh yeah, Kenny. He says, I'm telling you, I'm strong about this. He says, I have never been able to put together a focus group this cheap anywhere, and I'll never be able to do it again. So this is what he said, you know, when you come to a venue like that, he says, everybody's going to be crying. He says, nobody carries a handkerchief anymore. He said, you have to rely on these little boxes everywhere, and you use one, and then you stick it in your pocket, and then you got this thing full of snot in your pocket. He says, so I want you to show them this.
Oh my gosh.
And then the kids,
Are we serious?
Rocco, can I use you for a second? And David came up with this, so he can add that from the sticky bell called Candy Hanks. And it comes in many colors. Right? And it's very convenient because you can just hang anywhere.
Oh my.
If you need one, you can just come up and tear one off. Or if you have people attend the party that are thoughtful of others all the time, that's put your back up. If this person is sitting in front of you in the chair, all you got to do is just reach up and just tear one off and go to the next person. So anyway, if you need one, just take one. Now, there's going to be, I can only tell you right now, David is up there looking down. He said, "Go, man." Yeah. There's going to be boxes at the exits when you leave. If you fill out one of the cards and place it in there, if they get 30% of all of you put a recommendation in there, they can write this off as a business deduction. So anyway, love you, Dave. And if you don't know what just happened, you don't know David. Yeah, you jump right in there.
All right, so who's next?
All right,
Here we go.
Watches
Come
Bill.
on, you guys both go. Come on.
Come on, Bill.
I'm gonna make it up.
Hold his hand.
Uncle Bill, watch your step.
Yeah.
There you go.
You want the mic?
It's live.
Like you, baby, just like you.
Live at Memorex.
Yes, I'm lucky to be alive, I'll tell you. Try not to take too long, but I owe a lot to David, and none of it has to do with business. I remember one time years ago, must have been 51, 52 years ago, we were sitting at a bar in Hilliard, Ohio, and I was on leave from the Air Force, and I said, geez, I need something to do tomorrow night. And he said, well, why don't you take my sister Becky out for a date? And I said, you mean your sister that was in diapers when your dad was my Boy Scout leader? And he said, yeah, but I don't know that she was in diapers. Anyway, so I agreed, and he said, I'll set it up for you. And so I went to pick her up. We went out for dinner. Then we came back to my place, or my parents' place, I think it was. And I got to tell you, I was in love. Our first date, I asked her to marry me. She said yes. And I got to tell you, we've been married now 50 years.
57 years.
I knew I could get her to say something. Yes, we've been married 57 years, and as far as I know, we're going to continue. Although I have my doubts every time I'm driving her in the car somewhere. So, at any rate, that's really what I wanted to say. David was conscious of everything and could come up with ideas that I would never think of. And as a result, I've had the greatest life for 57 years. 3 children. How many grandchildren? 4 grandchildren. 6 great-grandchildren so far. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You got it?
Yep, I got it.
So, I don't know if you guys know this, but my dad said I was the crier in the family. I'm worried about taking off my mask because, well, the microphone. I had COVID this week. Oh, we have another one. Okay. So I got COVID this week, as luck would have it. And, you know, I could say things to my dad. I mean, it's just endless. It's probably him right now checking on me. What? Yeah. Yeah. But the thing that I think makes the most difference for me to say is that I realized recently that the greatest gift that my dad, one of the greatest gifts my dad gave me, was I got to witness him transform as a human being. When I was younger, I wanted to marry him. I thought he was the best. And then he became like a real hard ass, and it felt like he was just tough all the time. And we somehow persevered through that phase of life. But then recently, as age will do to you, I was able to reflect back on our experience together, and I realized that he was just always in my corner. He was just always, he always cared about what I was up to, and everybody that I know, really, and I assume all of you, he really cared. But when he was younger, he didn't know how to communicate it. He didn't know how to be soft about it, like Autumn said. So, I'll tell you something that happened. One of the last conversations that I had with him was in January. We're sitting out back on my dock, and he loved to talk to me about business because we have this photography studio thing in common, right? He started it, I worked for him, we all grew it, got crazy, broke it up and did our own things, but he and I still had lots of photography conversations. So I was sitting out back, I was exhausted, had been working what felt like around the clock for, I don't know, a year. And he started saying things to me like, you know, you could do this, and you could do that, and you should try this, and you should try that. And at some point, it's raining. Somebody get my laptop. What should I do? Is it gonna pass? Am I gonna get electrocuted? Feels like it's gonna stop. I just don't want to get electrocuted.
Battery, you're not going to get electrocuted.
Okay. That would be really ironic. Should we go in?
Let's go inside. Let's go inside.
Ow, where's my dog?
Oh my gosh.
Just go inside. We got room.
Okay.
It might just pass. I think it's gonna pass.